Page 62 and page 63. In this page I've done my own recreation of an artist called Rauschenberg, where I've taken a photo from before the image to actually after it got painted, even though the painting's here. From when I done this, I stuck on the image onto the paper just up top, so then I could have a glimpse of it instead of looking down or anywhere else, which actually helped me quite a lot. When I drawed out the design, I actually drawed out lines beforehand, which I've done on here, which then I measured out every single distance, then doubled, then halved, which then I recreated onto this big version. I recreated this artist because it was the one that linked mostly to my 2D idea, because he sectioned off his canvas by taking it apart, different ones, and putting together. But as my piece is not destroying it but section it off, I decided to recreate one of his pieces instead of someone who has much of a beauty as it which would have linked less. As for page 63, I have done a few experiments. I've stuck in an image, which was when I actually decided to actually sort out and organise my folder that was made by one of my teachers, where I've actually named them by independent work for classes and work completed each week. For the independent, when I opens it up, it will have all different names for each teacher and the class they teach. As for work completed each week, it shows the upload each weekly, from week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Some are combined, some aren't. We'll take a photo of some weeks it's the whole sketchbook because I've stuck in so much on that week, then do more online. And some will be mainly online where I've screenshot instead of actually putting everything on one PowerPoint. The reason for that is because my PowerPoint starts to slow down very slow to the point I can't even do any work on it. So I've made them all separate. It might be unhandy, but for the weeks folder, it's actually easier to look upon them, as then you can just scroll through instead of looking at the independent ones, as there's so many. In these experiments, I've done a technique where, similar to investigators, where I got this idea by putting my sweaty hand against a piece of paper to get more detail of all the texture of your handprints, which then I got some graphite, I got a makeup brush, and I gently went over the piece a few times. Doing this, if I zoom in, you'll be able to see all the detail into the hands. Even it's probably better off looking in person. We can see the creases in the palms and the fingers from every single joint. I find that this technique is very handy and good, but for now I won't consider this in a final piece because this is quite messy, and if I did do this it will need to be coated inside, because right now the graphite can come off really easy, and if someone came around with a rubber it will remove all the graphite completely, which will destroy it. I've also furthered this idea by trying to get the texture from my tongue to see what was the possibilities of what it would work, as any skin touch would work, but for the tongue, we're so moist, it didn't work, even if I dried up by dabbing it or wiping it on a towel and I transferred it. But the only thing I can see is almost a faint outline of the tongue, which is very unclear, but you can't see no detail or nothing. But if I dab my finger, which I did now, you can see the fingerprints from this piece. See? that's one reason why I've also not desired a piece, because I need to figure out the best way to protect it once it's completed, by either, which I will look into during my free time. As for this piece, I press my hand and fingers on some edge and on the actual entire mask like this, and then rub some graphite, use my makeup brush again. However, this has backfired, as all the graphite started sinking into the cloth instead of picking up the fingerprints, which I dislike the most, as my idea, if it did